To see you, especially after another victory. FA Cup though this week, Daniel. Well, firstly, how team-wise, anybody back that's been unavailable?
No, we spoke about that. Pascal and Daniel James would also miss this game. Sadly, major doubt behind Jamie Shackleton. He's unwell with illness. So we have still 24 hours, but at least it's not possible for him to train today. So definitely major doubt for him if he can travel with us and also if he's available for the game. All the other players came through to the last game without any injuries, without any knocks. So all the others are available.
I was going to ask you about Jamie Shackleton. Might as well do it now then, Daniel. He's out of contract this season. Where do you see him best in terms of your sort of formation and setup? And is he someone that you could see staying, or you want to stay beyond the end of the season?
He's best in the Leeds United shirt, that's for sure. I spoke about Jamie. It's a player I really like and I really rate, especially because he's so flexible and can play different positions. Obviously, he has played a lot, more or less in the central midfield positions. For us, he has played in the recent month whenever we need him on the right back position, but also on the left back position. Can remember one top performance as a left back. Also played a major role in our away game and away win at Ipswich. Jamie's a player who gives always 100% with also lots of identification for Leeds United. So he's with this club since several years, and you always want to have such a player who is perhaps not always in the spotlight, but important for the team and works really hard and is always reliable, always there whenever you need him and wherever you need him, with a solid performance. And yes, we will look after Jamie, that's for sure.
So that's encouraging. Let's hope he gets better soon as well, Daniel. This game might be seen as the one that nobody wanted because it's the long journey and it's another midweek game. But do you look at it as thinking, win it, and then I'm going to test myself against a Premier League team in either Chelsea or Villa? And is that motivation in itself?
Well, I would have preferred to be a bit more effective in the first game, because then we wouldn't have to travel that long. But anyway, so it's definitely better to have this game instead of being out of the competition, because we want to go into the next round and want to come as far as possible. But before we speak about the next possible opponent, it's important that we are really fully focused on this game, because a good side with many goal threats also in their team in the first game, they showed that they can be effective. They had, I think, 2 chances and were able to score one, a bit out of nothing. So it's a good side, and especially away game, long travel. We have to be fully focused in order to give us a chance to go into the next round. But that's definitely what we want to do, because first of all, whenever we represent the shirt, we have to be at our best. But like I mentioned before, I'm a deep believer in cup competitions, and there's sometimes some big nights. But before, you have to make sure that in this type of games you're really on it and focused, and we won't do anything stupid tomorrow in terms of team selection. We won't risk anyone who is perhaps there with problems, but we want to play a strong side and we want to go through into the next round.
Yeah, clearly there'll be probably some changes, Daniel. But something like Willie Gnonto, who's played really well in the second half particularly, gets a goal. Does it now think, I need that momentum to continue? Is it a 90 minutes for him? Is that in your thinking, maybe?
Yes, in general, I think you always have to differ a bit and to judge each and every individual player also special. So sometimes it's also important for players to come a bit more into this rhythm. We did this, for example, with Patrick Bamford, also at Peterborough, although he just started the first league game just the game before, but we got the feeling, no, he also should play in the cup to come a bit more into this rhythm. He didn't have too much game time so far, and it could be the same with several other players. And also in terms of the load, we need to find a good balance, because these players are also used to deliver all 3 days, and sometimes when you have a break, it also could stop your rhythm. It never works in a way that you say, come on, we rest the player for a week and next weekend he delivers. So these players are used to have lots of load and used to perform more or less each and every day. And sometimes if you have a midweek game and you rest a player, it could be also a bit tricky because we don't have really proper training sessions as a whole team. Then you have to make sure that they get their load, but you just can do this with a relatively small group. So sometimes it's even beneficial to play and to let a player in his rhythm. But it always depends on each and every individual player, how much load he had before, how much load he probably will have afterwards. And for that, it's always about to find a good balance in the team selection.
Daniel, Plymouth have gone and won away at the weekend. Anybody who plays Leeds, it's always a big occasion. It's going to be on telly. And for them, the back, in this league, they've got Premier League opposition like Leeds awaiting them should they win. Do you feel it's become a bit more of a bigger game because of that now? And particularly for them, do you think this is going to be a big occasion now?
Well, we are respectful. We know that wherever we go, it's a very special game for the home team. Quite often, it's a sold-out stadium since years because Leeds United is an opponent. We know this, so we know perhaps we have to be even a bit better than other away teams because against us, the home teams are always a bit more on it. It's this old saw that against Leeds United, it's always a cup final, so it's not the final right now, but it always feels like a special occasion for the home teams to be there with a major boost against a big name in this country with a big club with big history. But this is what you have to know when you represent Leeds United. And as soon as you sign a contract, then you know, okay, for each and every other team, it's also a bit special to play against us, and you always have to be even a bit more on it. And this is what you also face in this game. Especially, I also expect a excited home crowd. So we have to. The odds are against us in this game, and we have to be on it and show some steel. But especially the last away games were pretty encouraging. And yes, we want to show the steel and our quality and our spirit again on the road, and we want to go through.
Obviously, it worked out perfectly. But what was the thinking behind giving Willie the start rather than Jayden on Friday night?
Yes, it was not the easiest decision, if I'm honest, because Jayden was also quite impressive. It was also pretty tight call, and in the last cup game, Jayden was there with a terrific goal. It was a bit more like the position because we like Jayden a lot when he comes from the left wing, because with his signature move to cut inside and then with the in-swinger finish, also like how he scored the goal. Obviously on the right wing he can't do this that much. Willie is a bit more straightforward and can go over both feet. And we also got the feeling so he's working that hard and he's really on it. And the last games for him were even a bit unlucky, and we wanted to show even during these difficult times a bit that we back him, that we trust him, and give him another chance to come a bit more into his rhythm. And like I mentioned the last weeks, but also for Jayden in terms of yes, his focus and training load, not the easiest one due to private reasons. So it was a tight call. So it was also difficult to disappoint Jayden a little bit, because he also probably expected perhaps a bit, especially after the last cup performance, to be in the starting lineup. But it was not a decision against Jayden. It was more a decision and a bit gut feeling that Willie would deliver in this game. And yeah, thank God he repaid the trust and was there with a crucial goal. And I think it's pretty beneficial for him.
When do you inform a player that he's going to play? Do you inform them all together at once? Is it always at the same time, and why?
Normally just in the team meeting before game, because I'm not a big believer to speak about this one day before or too early, because sometimes also a player who is handed the start, has perhaps then a bit too much time to think about when he's a bit nervous. Obviously, sometimes you can sense it when you know, okay, probably I will play, of course. But also for all the other players, we want to hold the spirit high and the competition high. And I would never, for example, speak before the last session about such a topic, because each and every training session also influences our decision. We want to see the players to be on it in each and every training session, and also to use each and every session as a chance to impress and to make a move into the starting lineup. And also not a big friend to tell a player one day before the game that he's not starting, because then also in this preparation sometimes he can lose the focus a little bit. So we want to hold the spirit high, and also the competition high, and normally each and every player just knows about the situation and about our starting lineup just in the team meeting before the game, and just 2 hours before the game, 1.5 hour before the game. There are sometimes special occasions when you got the feeling, okay, you have to explain a bit more or prepare a player for a special situation a bit more. So it could differ, but the general principle is to let them know just before the game.
Georginio, it feels like he's contributing in a big way offensively. It feels like he's creating a lot, but his end product has dried up slightly. Do you have to convince a player in that situation that his contribution is still worthwhile, or even more worthwhile than it was before?
Sometimes yes, but not with Georgie at the moment, because he feels it, because he also can sense that he's important for our game, that he links our play well, that he's also connected and in many of our attacks. Obviously, once you play a bit deeper, then you're automatically perhaps not that close to the goal that you can always be there with a goal or with an assist. But I think he has played in the recent games many second last passes, and was also important that yes, he can also step up again a bit in being there with the goal, with assists. I can remember the big chance in the first half where it should have been a goal. So to be in this moments a bit more focused and brutal and clinical to use the chances, it's definitely something what we can improve. But he knows that he's in a really good shape, and is a pretty important player for us.
Hi Daniel, apologies if you were asked this the other night, but just in terms of Connor Roberts, where's his readiness to play both physically and in terms of his understanding of what you require of him tactically?
Yes, first of all, he's not eligible to play, so it's not in the competition for tomorrow. But overall, so it's an important signing for us, because we have allowed 2 natural-born right fullbacks, Luke Ayling and Jet Spence, to leave during this window, and we wanted to bring a new specialist in, because Archie Gray comes out of a central midfielder position. Even Jamie Shackleton, who has played there, comes out of the central midfield position. They're doing really well. We're happy with them. So it's not a sign that we don't trust them on this position. Definitely not. But we wanted to bring a specialist in, also a player who is already experienced on this level. Obviously, Connor has played 180 games in the Championship and 40 Premier League games. Was in the team of the season last season in the Championship, so says all about his experience and also his quality on this level. In addition to that, a really good character, and still also in a good age. So we got the feeling, so he's still on the way up the hill, not down the hill. So he still can improve and develop, and also in our conversations we had got the feeling, no, he's desperate to come and desperate to be a part and a member of this group, knowing that it's not like he comes in and the next day he wears a captain armband and takes all the penalties and free kicks and is just the main guy in the spotlight. So he needs also a bit time to adapt, to impress in training. But he was also involved in many games, even on Premier League level during the last 6 months. And he's also experienced and physically in a good shape. We got the feeling for him it's perhaps even a bit easier to come into the new group instead of a player who has never played on Championship level before. So I think due to his experience, his personality, but also his physical condition, I think he will adapt quite quick and become a good option quite soon. But we'll also give him the time to adapt a bit to the group. And for example, we will take him with us on our long travel to Plymouth right now, so that he got a feeling for our processes, and he stays together with the lads in order, to adapt also in terms of unity and spirit is pretty quick. I think it's a good option to do this, and yes, we are all happy that we have.
And obviously, you're playing a team from your own division who you've played quite recently. Do Do FA Cup games just have a different feel about them because there's still pressures, but they're different pressures to the pressures of league football?
Yes, of course, it's a different competition. Obviously, in the league, you also know that 1 point or 3 points in the final table can make a big difference. So for that, each and every game is important. Yes, in the cup competition, it's more or less a do or die game. So if you don't have a replay after a draw, then you can be there in this competition also with a replay. But it's also about, yes, normally after the game, you know, okay, you are progressing to the next round, and that's great, or you're out of the competition. So it's obviously also a different type of pressure, but also a pressure that we enjoy. We enjoy this challenge. Yes, perhaps the pressure is not so big like in league games because no one expects us to win the FA Cup in our year. So it's 50 years ago, so it was perhaps a bit different scenario, but at the moment it's probably for us as a championship team not realistic to win the FA Cup, but who knows? It's more like you have to win 8 rounds, or you have to go through 8 rounds in order to be successful at Wembley. And as long as you've got a chance in football, everything is possible. And we have right now the chance to go into the last 16 teams, into the group of the last 16 teams. We have the chance to win this cup. Yes, and we want to be a member of this 16 teams, and then we will keep going. But before, we have to concentrate in order to be successful against a really good side, Plymouth. And yes, we have to be on it.
And we saw Sheffield United reach the semi-finals last season and still get promoted from this division. There's a lot of talk about distractions from teams that lose in it, but do you think actually a good, just continuing the habit of winning games is good for the league side as well?
I don't like too much to speak about distraction and being tired and something like this, because if you speak too much about it, then the players believe that it's actually real. So actually you just started once to play football because you want to play football. And when we all were younger, so we wanted to play each and every day. So no one, our parents or grandparents or aunties and uncles couldn't tell us, no, we're tired, you can't play football. Each and every football player loves to play football. And obviously, there's also coaching staff and lots of support right now in nowadays in order to make sure that you're ready. But I don't like too much to speak about the load and being tired anyhow. So it's more like we want to win each and every football game, and I'm never tired to be involved in a football game, because this is what we're all about. We love this sport. We are addicted to the sport. We love this game, and it's not like we rest, and then we speak football would be the nicest thing without playing games. So no, we want to have these games, and we also want to be successful also in the cup. Thank you very much. Good. Good. Safe travel.